Hello, my name is Casper and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I will show you how to use ChatGPT and other tools to increase your productivity and code efficiency. After this tutorial, you will also know how to prompt engineering and structure the basic prompts, questions, etc. to the ChatGPT. So let's dive into this tutorial. Let's start smoothly with something special to macOS users. You have some application called shortcuts, and I just shared with you in the link down in the description the two macros to open ChatGPT and Playground with just a keyboard shortcut. So I've just set to the open ChatGPT the keyboard shortcut like that, and I also have like that keyboard shortcuts to the Playground. So let's test it. And GPT is opened and Playground is opened. So we will have an access to these tools just in a moment with smart typing. This tutorial has to cover some tools also to increase your productivity in using ChatGPT. So two my favorite apps are Paste and Text Expander. So basically it works like I have a keyboard in easy access with a nice combination of keys, and I have all of the prompts I use at the moment. In my easy access I can just copy and paste. So is the Paste app, and Text Expander is an app which allows you to have some text snippets with nice shortcut, like typing in this example .reset pw and you have entire chat. Let's cover some example setup of these two tools, mainly the Paste app and Text Expander. I will start with Paste app, and it will be very simple. Using the OpenAI examples of the prompts, I can navigate to explain code, for example. I have the prompt, the response, and what is very valuable for me is a system prompt. I'm just copying that. And now after Command C, I have in keyboard history this copied piece of text. I run the Paste app with Command Shift V, and in clipboard history I have the latest clipboard. You will be provided with a piece of code, and your task is to explain it in a concise way, just like the text I copied. So I can create some different labels, and I have a label, special label, yellow AI prompts. I'm just moving into AI prompts and go to AI prompts. I just change the title to explain code, for example from Playground. And if I want to paste it, I'm just going to, for example, ChatGPT, and using the shortcut Command Shift V, I have all of my prompts which I saved, and after navigating to the proper one and clicking enter, it's pasted. So basically it is how it works, Paste apps. Second app is a Text Expander. So just to set up it, I have to go to this app. I can use Raycast to be quicker. Okay, I'm in a Text Expander. So inside this app I have my snippets. I have the special label for dev, and I have all of my snippets here. So I will add the new with this plus sign. And how it works, I just type the text or paste, so I will be needed with some other prompts, and I have prepared few of them. For example, your only job is to skip explanations, act as X, answer as truthfully as possible, return X, and nothing more. So I will just use, for example, the first one. Your only job is to. It's very useful tip in prompt engineering. I will add abbreviation like I start with all of my prompts with small z, capital Li, and for example, job. Okay, it's added. I can test it on the ChatGPT. I'll go with my shortcut. And if I type zit AI job, here on job is 2. So basically it works super clean and efficient when your text is super long and you have super long prompts. It's worth remembering that, and for example use some abbreviations which are not used directly in the text. For example, if you use some word, for example I would use not the AI job but job, it would also automatically add me this prompt instead of the word job, which I would like to add in the text. Let's dive into the topic of how to ask questions to ChatGPT. The first method we will cover is the chain of thought. So for example, I have the standard prompt: Roger has 5 tennis balls, he buys 2 more, etc, etc. And ChatGPT obviously is mistaken because it doesn't cover so much math. So once I use it to add some simple numbers in my receipt, and it was always mistaken. But if you use chain of thought prompting, you can add the additional step. Roger started with 5 balls, 2 cans of 3 tennis balls, each is 6 tennis balls, and example math. Then asking the question again, ChatGPT is not making mistakes. So it's worth of remembering, and we can now test it on the playground. Let's jump into OpenAI Playground. So basically it's the place where I can test my prompts, and without any more details I will go directly to the example of chain of thoughts. Let's skip these parameters. What you can know is that model is GPT 3.5, so the free version, temperature is 1, etc. So system prompt is concert is scheduled to 23rd August but was delayed 10 days. What day will be 3 days from now if concert is now 20 days after today? So ChatGPT just indicated that 3 days from now will be 5th of September, which is wrong, and what means that today is 2nd of September. It also didn't indicate this date. So if I add extra logic here, I would have some proper response. Okay, so I've added some chain of thoughts extra text. Concert was delayed 10 days, what means that is rescheduled to the 2nd of September. Concert is 20 days in the future from now, what means that today is 20 days difference in the past from 2nd of September, what gives 13th of August. 3 days from now will be 16th of September. Yeah, and ChatGPT now is correct with that. Let's ask a question if ChatGPT knows what day is today. Today is August 13th. So I can also ask what day is 10 days from now. 10 days from now will be August 23rd. So basically it's the best option if you have some complex code and want to make some debugging or generate a boilerplate. You can use some schema for that using the chain of thoughts. For example, I have to generate a code for React application and I'm not going straight into details and let generate me something like that, but also in the between I add some example code snippets, how it could be done, and then I have the correct result. My favorite method for asking prompts is very simple, it's a zero shot. So basically I add some code snippet like that on submit function, which is asynchronous, takes some data as a parameter, and I have an access post function here. And what I want is to change it to fetch instead of access, just for purposes of my application. I text that. Eventually I can add a separator, which is recommended from OpenAI. I submit, and there is a fetch function in this data. So for some piece of code like that, simple piece of code, it's perfect. So you can use like that. Another method which can be a fulfillment of these previous ones is a reflection. So basically what is reflection? It's just making sure that the answer is correct. So I have a prompt, and in the end I can ask, are you sure? Or something like that. And like you can see, success without reflection is constant, success with reflection is growing. So I will go to the playground, and basically it works like that. Are you sure? I submit. Yes, I'm sure both axes, etc. is okay. And it's very important to ask this question in some cases, because like that is very simple, but in chain of thoughts and some more complex prompts, it generated me some very useful examples and just saved some time for debugging and asking again questions, etc. So just a simple question, are you sure, is super useful and can save your time. Let's dive into some advanced prompt engineering. So basically we can create a prompt like in the previous examples, or we can use some complex and more advanced method. And this method consists of 4 points. So basically I add an instruction, context, summary, question, divided with a custom divider, which naturally is not included in the text, like 3 hashtags. And this is the one most recommended from OpenAI. And in these points I include some text, which is instruction, context, summary, question. To achieve that, I have something prepared. Instruction acts as a world-class senior developer based on the context with 2 brackets, curly brackets, and summary as the question. So basically it refers to the context. This context, summary, and question. Context is some code, JavaScript code. Like previously on submit, summary, this is JavaScript code, question, change it to white TypeScript code. Return only code and nothing more. Do not write explanations. It can be very useful to just save some tokens. And submit. I have the TypeScript code. Let me present what will be returned if I don't consist these 2 phrases. And I have the description to change the code, the valid TypeScript, etc., etc., and just the code. So it happens. Yeah, and this also adds some points. What is more, there is an example prompt which I created before. So it doesn't consist strictly these 4 points, but it works also perfectly. I have the prompt, I want to act as a senior front-end developer, so it's a nice phrase so that ChatGPT will know that it has to be efficient as a single developer. I will paste there an error in the curly brackets, error in curly brackets of the code, curly brackets. It just refers to these variables. Made in text stack, I add the stack Next.js 13, React.js, CSS, JavaScript, Chakra UI, TypeScript, and React hook form. You should return a code which fixes an error. Do not write explanations. And you can paste there some code, some error, and it should work. Just to remember, Next.js 13 is not available for ChatGPT without accessing the browsing. Right now ChatGPT just stopped it, but before there was a possibility to plug in with browser, so then it worked perfectly. I want you to know that some of my custom prompts will be available on my website, so don't worry, you can just visit the link in the description, kacperhernacki, and you can go to one of these tabs and everything will be visible. And if you want to be on the newsletter list, you can sign in on my page and get the quality content with some books, tweets, podcasts, and productivity tips, some valuable content about GPT, automations, code, etc. You can just visit my website and sign in there. Let's go through some of the examples from my work and work with ChatGPT. So I had a problem, zero shot, how to add on hover, just pasted the code. Of course you have to be known that you can paste only the code from your apps and production platforms if the customer is just signing that. Let's go in some real examples from my work and my prompts. And for example, the first one will be the zero shot prompt with some problem with tiled with Chakra UI. Let's analyze some prompts from my daily work, and let's start with the Chakra UI problem. And just in caution, you can paste there a code from the production application if you have an agreement with the client. So going to the Chakra UI, I had the problem how to add on hover, and I added the code. I will not go through the details, and ChatGPT just returned the instruction. The instruction was pretty cool, but I wanted to scale it smoothly, and it added required prompts. So it was zero shot, which was very valuable and super easy to fix. Another prompt was about explanation, so I had the uses WR, and I wanted to explain this code and add example feature. It worked perfectly. Explained the code and added the feature, which was working. Another cool prompt which I made was I want to act as a world-class single developer and basically add the review of my code added, and it was made in the GitHub pull request mode. So I have the plus signs, which line I should add, etc. Another cool method, and the last in this tutorial, is the Revert Engineering. So basically I create a prompt, act as a prompt engineer for LLM, etc, etc. Keep asking questions until you don't find any issues with the prompt or until I say done. If you understand, acknowledge this with 3 dots. I will use in this example GPT-4 because it will be more suitable for prompt engineering. 3.5 is not super cool for that. Submit, assistant is acknowledged. Okay, I will delete this, I typed 2 times. And for example, I will add this. Create a banner for an ad of new iPhone. Submit, and just to clarify, the AI model language model lacks the ability to create visual content, etc, etc. So piece of advice for improving your prompt could be to clarify what exact written content you need for the new iPhone advert, and you can go so on, etc, etc with that. Thank you so much for watching this material. Hope you liked it and will be super valuable in your coding journey. So just if you want to see more videos, visit my YouTube, other social media, sign into newsletter, and you will be with the content on a daily basis. Thank you and see you.